Yes, we are live.
We are live.
Indira, you may start.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good morning to all of you and welcome to the webinar, Logistics and Supply Chain Management. Indeed, a very relevant and subject topic as such. Supply chain management and logistics. What is it exactly? Well, let me try to put it this way. You know, all of us know, in fact, how easy it has become to buy anything. Whatever we need is at our doorstep with just a call or the click of a keypad. Have you ever wondered how exactly does the product you prefer, the product you chose, reach you? Even products prepared and manufactured from far-flung areas and sometimes abroad. Well, this entire system that makes your preferred product reach you is supply chain and logistics management. And as you can understand, this domain has definitely become extremely crucial today. Undeniably, purchase and consumption of products and goods are a large part of our day-to-day life, be it directly visiting the market or diving into the world of e-commerce sites. A large part of this delivery is handled by the supply chain management and logistics process. Especially with the boom of e-commerce sites, this area has become extremely crucial. However, this is me oversimplifying the process. We will get to hear about the topic and learn about this interesting world from the experts. And we have a little video about supply chain and logistics. This will make you understand better.
Most of us aren't even aware of the UK logistics industry, yet it's one of the most successful sectors in UK business. Logistics affects nearly every aspect of our daily lives. It's quite literally all around us, all the time. It never stops. It just continues to grow and respond to the demands we place upon it. One would be forgiven for taking the logistics sector for granted. But if you scratch beneath the surface a little and understand the principles that define life as we live it, it shouldn't. After all, without efficient logistics, so much is at stake. Did you know that 95% of fruit and 50% of vegetables eaten in the UK are imported? They arrive by boat, air and rail nearly every hour of every single day. Our roads, railways and waterways are the arteries that keep our shelves stocked and the system functioning. Without them, we wouldn't have any of the things we use, eat and enjoy. So next time you're eating your lunchtime sandwich or enjoying your morning coffee, spare a thought for where it's come from and how it came to you. It all happens right under our noses. The world keeps on turning without us really paying attention. But imagine if it just stopped. What would you do with the half-ton of rubbish you generate each year? That's just the stuff you see. There's a further 440 million tonnes of other waste dealt with behind the scenes. In fact, we produce so much rubbish that every 2 hours we could fill the Albert Hall. But clearing up after us is a dirty job, and someone's got to do it. And logistics plays a fundamental part in that. If you're feeling nice and warm while watching this film, consider the logistics that brought the power to your heating system. A massive 63 million tonnes of coal are burnt in our power stations every year, and 70% is moved by train. And the fuel in your car only gets there because the oil itself is driven to a convenient location for you to get it. Even our alternative energies are hugely dependent on logistics. These farms then generate clean energy, which is harnessed and delivered back into business to supply yet more services. Believe it or not, over £10 billion worth of pharmaceuticals enter the UK every year. A vast majority are brought in by air and then delivered by road to the wholesalers. As our second biggest sector, the economic health of the nation is also heavily dependent on exports from the UK. It's a big business, all made possible through transport logistics. So, other than heating, food, waste removal, construction, manufacturing, our emergency services, our economy and medicine, what has logistics done for us? Well, without it, everyday life would look and feel very different. With no way to ship products from the Far East, there'd be no TV, surround sound or CD player for a start. Furniture from Scandinavia and the polish we use to clean it would disappear. It's fair to say the price of genuine Turkish rugs would skyrocket too. In fact, without logistics, it would be impossible to obtain the building materials needed to build in the first place. It would be living, but not as we know it.
Right, so true. It will be living, but not as we did it like this. So you can understand how crucial it is. This is really a very interesting and important part of our life. We will get to learn so much about this topic today, the entire process, and of course, the new collaboration between one of the youngest and universities of Eastern India, Nivedita University, with one of the most successful media houses, Times Pro. This new collaboration, we will learn about that today as well. For the speaker, we have very renowned speakers for this webinar today. We are extremely grateful to have with us today Professor Ratun Khashnovish. Of course, he's a renowned academician and an economist with years of experience in academics. He's a director of Department of Management, Sister Nivedita University, with us right now. We also have Dr. Devraj Dotto. He's, of course, the professor and head of the Department of Management for Sister Nivedita University. He has years of experience in the corporate sector as well and in the academic sector. We're really grateful to have him. And of course, from the industry, we have Mr. Sujit Singh, who is a Deputy General Manager, Logistics and Product Head at Times Pro. He's a total industry experience of over 15 years and spans across various industries. Thank you so much to all of the speakers for being with us today. We will definitely take questions from the audience and then the session. So any of you joining in have any questions to ask, please write them in the chat box. I'm sure the speakers will answer this. Without much ado, let's get right into the topic. I would request Professor Khashnovish to maybe talk a little bit about the domain area of supply chain. So we would love to know about the topic.
Yes. The generic name should be, and it has been done so, logistics first and supply chain management. Actually, this is the area on which there is immense possibility of development of the subject of management and immense possibility with respect to the generation of employment. Why do I say so? I say so because of 2 points. Number one, the management science as it has developed up till now is basically a subject on which decisions are taken on the basis of knowledge on the various functional areas of business. So functionally differentiated management, that is the core e- essence of the subject. Functionally differentiated. Some people contribute in the area of say finance. Some people contribute in decision making process of say HR. Some people contribute in the area of decision making process in say marketing. And all the people have some basic understanding about how the economy runs, what should be the organizational structure, that is how the organization should behave, what is the general business environment, how is the macro scenario and micro scenario of business. So this is the understanding on the basis of which the subject has grown up till now. For last 1 decade or so, some changes came up in this perception. I should say the change came in the perception of this functionally differentiated concept of management. Functionally differentiated, of course, you have some basic understanding, some understanding in the area of say finance, you have some expertise in the area of HR say, you have some expertise in the area of marketing say, but business does not view the scenario the way you are viewing. Why this is so? Because the business perception has changed. What is the change in the perception? Change in the perception is like this. Business thinks nowadays that look, the problem is like having access to resources in order to meet some needs which will come in the form of some effective demand, and that will be met in the form by making some chain of supply. And this effective demand can be met by producing within the plant, but it can also be met by simply maintaining a chain which could meet my need in the warehouse. I have a warehouse where there is some demand in the area of logistics, and this demand is met by my people in the production, also met by outsourcing, and I am maintaining a chain by which these needs are met in the market by a strong supply chain. And this supply chain is so strong that the felt need of the consumer could be immediately met. Since I have a chain and since I can have a proper warehouse support, and since I can make a proper assessment of where from demand is being generated and how this can be met by people. In order to meet this thing, the management needs a special kind of skill. Special kind of skill in which knowledge in the area of finance, knowledge in the area of marketing, knowledge in the area of HR, all these are integrated. You are maintaining, say, you are managing a logistic hub in which so many streams are there that meet your requirement of what you would need to maintain the need of your supply chain. You have this thing. And that big warehouse has so many people employed who are effectively serving to get things done in procurement. That could be from your production, that could also be from procurement from outside, outsourcing we call it. And by this way, a strong warehouse support is developed. And if a strong warehouse support is developed, you can meet any demand in the supply chain if you can feel that that is the demand, and you can develop the supply chain in this way. There also will meet some specialized people with some specialized understanding, and the functional needs in the area of management say finance, marketing, or say HR, the functional areas. This will also be there, will be needed in those areas, but the emphasis would be to meet the need which is there in maintaining an effective supply chain. Now we will find in every business things are getting changed in this way. Many business houses will find, yes, they have some in-house production. They produce things, no doubt about this one. They have manufacturing hubs from which things are produced. But you'll also find they would try to meet some of the demand which is being generated in the warehouse by outsourcing, because that becomes cost effective. Now conceive a person who is there in the warehouse who needs that I will need some X tons of such and such commodities. And X tons of such and such commodities out of this thing, some X minus X1, this kind of this amount of commodity will be there produced in my production system. The rest, the residual part of that X, I can procure, I shall have to procure from outside, and for which I know from where I can outsource this one. I will immediately tap that source, and from there I will get it done. And so that in my warehouse, the capacity is maintained for meeting the demand of that X amount of commodity. Commodity composition could be composition could be very yes, that does that, but it is that I can meet this one. People are there who can particular demand by the way of integrating what is there in our production system, and what we can procure from outside. Similarly, also inside where market is form of effective demand, I would try to beat this one by maintaining a chain of supply. Having to a particular problem which was there in the operations, we called it traveling salesman problem. Basically, that was the problem. How I should develop a supply chain which will have certain nodes, which will be efficient. Efficient nodes, which I will develop. And as I develop these efficient nodes, that will meet the needs in the area of demand in a more effective way. So you see, the visualization of the problem has changed completely. Not that we are now thinking in terms of some functionally differentiated kind of management. It was there, functionally differentiated types of management. It was there. But now the scenario is such that we perceive a situation where we have an understanding of what are being demanded in the market, what I can meet from my own sources, to what extent I can meet this thing from outside sources. I have a clear picture, and I have full support in the form of the knowledge, expertise to meet the demand which is being generated in the market. As a result, you will find that the management demand for the people to meet this need in the supply chain, management demand for the people to meet the demand in the area of warehouses, management in what we call the logistics are being comprehended in a different way, and different sets of people, different sets of demands are coming in the market, and manpower planning is also being done in this way. This kind of situation, visualization of this situation can be captured by restructuring the subject in a different way. Subject of management being restructured in a different way. What is the different way? Restructuring the subject of management in a different way. What is that different way? And that different way, issues coming under the different way are being captured by a new subject, which you call the subject logistics, which actually concentrate on the supply side, and the second one, logistics and supply chain management, a chain which actually meets the effective demand in the market. So logistics and chain of management to meet the effective demand, that is how the subject can be visualized. And this is the way in which new courses are being formulated, are being visualized in the domain of management science. In Sister Nivedita University also, we are planning to introduce a new course outside what is there in the run of mill of situation. That is the typical management subject. Outside this thing, what we can introduce a new area, and there we have concentrated on a subject called logistics and supply chain management. And we understood that we have the academic expertise in reframing the subject of management in the way of meeting the need of the logistics, meeting the need of the supply chain. This academic need of this thing we can meet in from our academic pool in Sister Nivedita University. But we knew, very much knew, that we did not have much market exposure to how things emerged, how things really emerge in the market, in the area of logistics, also in the area of supply chain management, how really things function. And in this area, I knew that I need the collaboration of an organization like Times Pro, which has expertise, much expertise for a long time to understand, to assess the growing need, growing demand in the market. I was looking forward, rather we were looking forward to a collaboration with an organization with which our academic inputs could be shared. When an offer came from Times Pro that such a course can be offered by Sister Nivedita University, we really jumped on this one. We needed this. We needed it. We know that we have the academic support to meet the challenges which are coming or developing in the market in the area of logistics, and also in the area of meeting the effective demand through a supply chain, proper supply chain, strong supply chain. The academic inputs we have, but how the market is really developing, and how how issues are to be addressed in the language of effective demand in the market, in the language, effective language of logistics. We did not know this thing. Times professional learning, as I understood, could address this thing in a proper way. Needed this collaboration. And when I went through their courses which are they are offering, I understood that yes, we are hitting the jackpot, in the sense that we could understand what they are trying to sell, and how this meet our demand also. We had some discussion, informal discussion. After that, some course outline was offered by the Times Pro, and Professor Devraj Datta, he also worked on this several times on the initial draft. And after that, I shaped this thing and shared it with other academicians. And I was satisfied that this could be very useful this has an immense possibility, and therefore I forwarded this thing to the Vice Chancellor for the proper academic action. Vice Chancellor also understood. I'm thankful to him. Also understood the possibility of running a new course of supply chain management, of logistics and supply chain management, and he promised me full support for introducing a new course in the sister university. With his support and with the proper backing of my academic, the internal resources which I have, the academic resources that I have, with this thing I can really go for trying this one. And after this one, the course has been initiated. It has been launched, and I am looking forward to a great experience with collaboration with Times Pro. I am
Absolutely, sir.
sure, yeah, I am sure
Yes,
that
we
Times
will.
Pro will I will do this thing in a proper way so that our needs will be met properly.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, Professor Kashnvish, for that 360-degree view of the topic. Much needed explanation of and that introduction of how the collaboration came about. I would ask Mr. Singh, Mr. Sujit Singh, to give us a little more and elaborate on this is, as he said, we were responding to the need of the hour when we started this subject, this program. We would like to hear from you, sir, about the collaboration and also a little bit about how this came about.
Thank you so much, Professor Kasnavis. Like you have already well quoted, like the importance of supply chain management is very much required or very much promising. If I talk about the industry point of view, if you talk about the global competition point of view, every country, if we considerable developing, underdeveloping, or developed nation, this logistic and supply chain is playing a very vital role. So I just very quickly give some information which is required, how this industry is shaping well, and how this we can think about the futuristic process. So one information I would like to share with regards to the future skilling part, or maybe the India Skilling Report 2021 with respect to the hiring trend. And if we look at closely, the logistic and supply chain division is having a huge number of demand with 29%. That is after COVID. The huge number of companies have started their traditional way of business to converting into the futuristic process, or maybe the modern era strategies. And we have witnessed how rapidly this e-commerce division is creating a very larger scope in terms of the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And that is the reason now all the leading organizations, those who are having their setup in the metros area or maybe some other countries, now they wanted to be the part of the Indian market thing. And if I talk about the future of logistic and supply chain industry with regards to 2021 to 2025, now government and as well as the key stakeholder is most promising, and the next process way with regards to the third party logistic market for the India. And that is how they wanted to have a large number of opportunities for the student, those who really wanted to serve for the logistic and supply chain division process. And also there is a huge demand from tier 2 and tier 3 cities are increasing with regards to fulfillment of the customers' expectations and other things. And that is the reason these e-commerce companies and the service provider are looking a huge number of the manpowers. So just giving you this some information like why future jobs in India, we are more focusing towards logistic and supply chain management. So the first element I would like to cover with regards to the augmented reality means the futuristic warehouse planning process, last mile delivery streamlined for the last mile delivery operations part. And the most promising, the real-time updates and the validations with regards to your consignments and the quality assurance. That's how they will be creating a more valuable input. The second is already robot and automated guided vehicle is introduced in the market, and now they wanted to full-fledged with regards to sorting the challenges with the warehousing and the operations module. And this is the most interesting fact related to robust growth in e-commerce market and as well as the third-party logistic. And that is the reason now all the leading players are more emphasizing on taking up quality students. So that is the main area where they have to more focus on the quality part. So means a right candidate for the right fitted job role would be required from the industrial point of view. And now the most promising way, they are now shifting towards the manual transformations to the latest tools and techniques. So now they are using the big data analytics for the long-term demand forecasting or maybe capacity optimizations, planning and yield management, so that they can have their vision and futuristic process after 5 years down the line, what kind of the market things are there and what need to be taking on that sort. And second, they're looking at skilled people, they're looking at talented people where they can have a bigger volume and bigger strength for the market process way. So this is the major part for the collaboration thing, like that is the a new upgradation from the industry side. And this is the best part. We can collaborate these kind of the requirement from the industry to the academia side, so that the student can more capable towards the futuristic demand process. So a student who pass out from logistic and supply chain management, he can proudly say, I know my KRAs, I know my roles and responsibilities, and I am the specialized person for the operations module. I can deliver the best result. If you compare with the other student, if you compare with the other pass out graduates, I'm the best suitable guy for the operations point of view. Yes, ma'am. I think you are in mute.
Sorry. Right. Thank you, Mr. Singh. Well, yes, as you said, correctly pointed out, that a large part of this depends on the grooming of the students and the curriculum that is offered. Well, what is the curriculum offered at System in the university? Who can take up the course? And what is on offer? What do they get to learn? People who will take up the course, what do they get to learn? We will know all about this from Professor Dr. Devraj Dotto. Sir.
Thank you, Ms. Mukherjee. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thanks, Professor Kashmir.
Yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Thank you, sir. As Ratan sir has already mentioned, Professor Hashim has already given you a background, and Mr. Surjit has nicely pointed out the industry requirements. Now, what happens in any professional course? What is our job? Our role is to make students, make all the people who are looking for a career, our job is to make them industry ready, career ready. So that is very, very important, where we have to integrate the industry requirements and the academic delivery or the curriculum per se. Now, those who are following this particular webinar, you must have found out certain gaps, certain areas that Mr. Surjit has talked about. And while designing the curriculum, we have kept those things in mind. For example, the supply chain planning. That's our first specialization paper in the very first semester. So we are not waiting for the second or third or fourth semester. We are going to give the exposure to the students in the very first semester, the basics of supply chain. As Madam Mukherjee has mentioned, that it is there around us. And whenever we go for offline purchase, online purchase, there is a supply chain mechanism that is being played. But how? So as a future practitioner, future professional, you need to understand how this happens. And the way we are designing the curriculum is not just going to be some theories, some models, or some lectures. There will be subsequent practical sessions, because most of these sessions would be taken by the industry experts. Okay, and that's why we have made a tie-up with Times Pro, because they have the deep domain expertise in this particular field. And as you can see that they are coming from India's one of the largest media groups, if not the largest. So they have the domain expertise. So that's our differentiator. That sister university and techno group, we have that academic expertise for years, and Times Pro, they have the corporate expertise, the professional expertise. And this particular course is basically an amalgamation, an integration of technical expertise, professional expertise, and academic rigor. So that's why we have kept this specialization paper even in the very first semester, that is called supply chain planning. Then what we have in the second semester, again, as Mr. Sujit has mentioned, the logistics part. If somebody can see, someone can recall that particular visual, that particular graph, the logistics management and the e-commerce. Especially during pandemic, we are booking order, we are asking for food, we are asking for everything, sanitizer, we're asking for shopping, everything we are doing through online. But we see only the front end. But what happens at the back end? It is not so easy task where you place an order and the product will be delivered at your doorstep within 1 or 2 days, even sometimes on the same day. How is it possible? Like Mr. Sujit has used a term called last mile delivery, or he has used another term called third-party logistics. Now, Amazon may not have to do everything. So it may have a tie-up with another logistics provider. So there'll be great job opportunities, not only in Amazon, not only the companies you know, but there are many third-party logistics, tip 3PL, we say 3PL. So 3PL providers, and this is a huge prospect. So this is a very, very important thing, the operations part. And that is why in the semester 3, we have that operations part in terms of purchasing and vendor management and warehousing and inventory management. Professor Khashmi sir has talked about the warehousing thing. You need to stock products somewhere, especially for the perishable goods. So warehousing is a very, very important part. And the inventory management, that you order X and you get Y product. Obviously, you'll not be happy. Even if you get 50% discount, you'll not be happy if you get Y when you have ordered for X. So it is not so easy when a company like Amazon receives thousands of orders. So there has to be some sort of mechanism. Who is going to do that? Obviously, earlier, people used to do that through their experiences. Now things have become very challenging, very demanding, because customers are asking for within 1 hour delivery, within 1 day delivery. There is an island-based startup named Manna, who is promising to deliver mobile phone in a city called Oranmore. It's not Dublin, it's not a very major city, Oranmore. And this Manna startup, it has made a tie with Samsung, and it is promising, if you order, the mobile phone would be delivered within an hour. That means what? They are keeping that kind of inventory, that kind of warehousing, that kind of logistics and supply chain management. So they are becoming so very impatient. They want a mobile phone within an hour of the ordering. That's where curriculum comes. That's the bridging the gap. And that's what the students who should go for this particular curriculum, they should think about it, that how can I be ready for it? So I think now things are becoming clear that one is what industry is requiring, and another is what we have to deliver. And there has to be proper fit between what industry wants and what our students can provide. Just like when we purchase something, exactly the same thing happens, that we have certain needs, we expect something. If we don't get from a particular brand, even if the brand is a very reputed one, we'll not buy. We'll only buy when there is a fit between our need, our expectations, and the value offerings, the delivery by the marketer. So exactly that is going to be our job. In this case, industry will be expecting something from the professionals, and we'll be making professionals. We'll be creating professionals through our courses. And that's the whole concept behind this tie-up, that we have Times Pro and we have Techno India Group and Sister Nimitan University as a backup. So I have talked about first 3 semesters. So I think Mr. Sujit, you can even continue. Then I'll come with the other specialization papers, which will be at sync.
Sure, very, very well said, Professor Datta. So on a continuation note, as you have mentioned, the skill gap and the where we need to improvise on the part. So this is the common skill gap where the industry identifies the jobs are available. They have jobs in executive operations, warehouse supervisor, or administration part. As Professor Datta rightly said, the curriculum is designed as per the futuristic requirement, and this curriculum is basically more focused towards the common skill gap, which is highlighted from the industry point of view. And that is the reason number of opportunities are there in the market, but they don't found a capable student to join and execute the process, because all such kind of the job role is related regards to the operational process. And Professor very rightly said, if you order X and you receive Y, it's not a marketing problem. It's not a person's problem who deliver the consignment. It's an entire mechanism problem with regards to their operations. And that is how they want a very hygiene and sustainable process, so that there is no error in terms of the product and the segmentation part. So that is the main point where we will like to have the industry academia collaboration part, because the student expectation did not match with the industry expectation. That is the first challenge, and that the SNU will come up with these kind of the solutions with the matching the student expectation with regards to the industry expectation. And the second most important thing, knowledge and skill set, what the students is getting or the traditional way of education also not match with the industry expectation. So SNU will come up with the new thoughts, new generation education process, so that they will fulfill the entire requirement or bridging the gap between industry and academia through this industry integrated collaboration process. So I just wanted to highlight how this entire curriculum will give us a better access with the logistic demanding sector way. So these are the most promising logistic demanding sectors where after completing this program, the student can be fit for their futuristic profile, which is available for the industry point of view. The person who from the technical domain, so means this is the one industry, this is the one process, irrespective of any stream of the graduation, like you are the BCom pass out or maybe BTech pass out, or no, simple, if I talk about a general BCA, BA, all sort of domain of the education, student can be capable to make their career for logistic and supply chain management. So you could be a better position into the machine and engineering companies, automobile industries, e-commerce division, FMCG, textile industry, and retail sectors. As sir is talking about how this beautiful we have integrated the curriculum with regards to the opportunity wise. So I would like to highlight how this curriculum will give you the better access and better sense in terms of the opportunities which is available for logistic and supply chain management. So we are having a warehouse management. In that particular part, the candidate should be, the profile should be more flexible and more responsible towards the material inward outward processing, documentation part, responsible for quality check, data management and licensing with DC. DC stands for distribution center. So that is how the curriculum with regards to the opportunities which is available for that particular segment. The second is, sir is talk about the planning management. So warehouse planning management, the candidate should be more responsible towards the understanding of managing and coordinating logistics, inventory control, maintain the supply chain plan and process. So means it's more towards the operational mechanism. The third one is the operation management. Through this operation management, the candidate should be understanding of back-end operation, check for logistics, quality check for end-to-end process and report generation. The fourth one is the procurement management. In this part, the candidate should be well understanding note on supplier relationship management, auditing, certifying, negotiating with multiple suppliers, WMS data management, warehouse management systems. The fifth one is the logistic operation management. So like sir is talking about the e-commerce companies and the traditional way of the process, all leading e-commerce organizations are most promising towards the managing the logistic operation process. So in that part, managing and coordinating logistics, transportation management, lead direct strategic planning process and implementation. Last but not least, with regards to supply chain management. So re-engineering end-to-end sales and operation process, rollout plan, and franchisee management and demand projection. So these are the promising job opportunities with regards to what the academics can be collaborated to the industrial point of view, and you will have a better position with your futuristic process.
And the major differentiator that we have, as Mr. Sujit has talked about various disciplines and job opportunities, that in the final semester, we have on-job training. And that's a major differentiator, because if you look at other management courses, there are some internship opportunities, but either they're offered after the completion of the course or 1 year before the completion of the course. But here what is happening, it is being offered in the final semester. That means there is a question of freshness, the recency, that you are into on-job training and then you are looking for a job. So there would be the connections. And if you really do well, maybe the company where you are doing that training, you might be absorbed there. Or you can use that experience to get the job, because you have the domain expertise, you have the domain knowledge, you have the skill, you have the attitude, what we have imported as teachers, and then you have the experience, on the job experience for at least 3 months, if not more. So look at the combination, as Mr. Sujit was talking about. If somebody can recall that not equal to that part, that is what? Lack of fit. We often say that people are unemployed, but thing is that there are jobs. Why there is this unemployment problem? Because there is a skill deficiency. There is a gap between what the corporates want and what the job aspirants provide. So this on-job training is a major differentiator, and the way it has been placed, final semester, not after the completion, not 1 year before. So that's our major differentiator, and we are going to give 12 credit points for that. That means we are giving that kind of importance. Usually the projects get 4 credits, 6 credits, but here 12 credits. And in the 6th semester for the BBA and for the MBA 4th semester, that's the only thing that you're going to have. Why? Because whatever you have learned in 5 semesters or 3 semesters for post-graduation, this is the time where you have to show that yes, you have imbibed it and you can deliver it. That sort of assurance corporates want and interviewer wants. Isn't it, Mr. Surjit? This is what you're talking about. And if you can recall his video, in one part of the video it was mentioned that 70% of cargo is being shipped by the train. That's the importance of cargo management. Even we have kept that paper in our curriculum. Usually cargo management is not taught at this level, but we have kept cargo management. We have kept CRM, customer relationship management. We have kept project management. All these three papers are going to be offered in semester 5. We have also kept GST. In our country, GST was implemented on 1st of July 2017, and it is a part of parcel of anything that we do, any business that we do. And GST calculation is very important and if somebody has looked at restaurants, a restaurant bill, you find out a GST there, SGST, IGST, all this. We have a paper called GST and taxation. We have a paper called Commercial Geography and Logistics Documentation. Documentation is also very important because of the dealings. It is not just, I call somebody and products will be delivered. There should be some bills generated. There should be some airway bill. There should be some sort of documentation for domestic as well as international transportation. Everything is inside our curriculum. And very important thing, again, I'm saying the on-job training. You won't find this on-job training in any other university or any other institute program. We are giving that much of importance in practical application. This is an application-oriented curriculum. It's career-oriented curriculum. So that is what I wanted to tell. And we have had a long discussion with Times for People, with the domain experts. It is not just suddenly we have come out with this curriculum. Long discussion, and then we have come out with this curriculum. And it's a wonderful curriculum. It's a wonderful integration, I must say. This is very important thing. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much for that very that discussion. And yes, as you said, it is a very modern approach to pedagogy in terms that you provide while we are studying, we get to have that feel of the industry, get to have that exposure through trainings, and also get to understand what the industry wants. So, as you rightly pointed out, Professor Dotto, we are making professionals. So thank you for that quote. But I would also, both of you did stress on the opportunities that we have, but I would also like to ask you about a little bit about the areas where students would get placed and how they can, approach companies or corporates in terms of getting placed. So, and
So,
Professor Dotto, I would like to ask you to. So yes,
I think
starting with Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, Mr. Singh, starting with Mr. Singh. Yes.
Then I'll come.
So very quickly, I just wanted to give you some understanding at the time of OJT, what sort of the career options student can work out, or what kind of the different profiles they can work out. So these are the entire glimpse of that particular note. The student can be fit for the business strategy role, or maybe the quality as a management trainee, consulting firms, project management, even the HR and IT domain also requiring the logistic and supply chain candidate, then controlling finance, production, research and development, procurement, logistics. So that's how you can shape your career during the on-the-job training format. And once you complete your on-the-job training, how your career ladder would be there in terms of making, process way. So if you place into the analyst role, or maybe customer relationship management, inventory control, production and operation, purchasing, system support, SCM consultant, transportation, vendor manage inventory, warehouse operations. So there are 18 plus various roles and responsibilities are there for the operational thing. And then you may become within 4 to 5 years down the line, you join this industry as an operation executive or senior operation executive. Then slowly and gradually, within 1 or 2 years down the line, you may become assistant team leader, then operation management. That's how you can shape your career. And if you continue with this particular domain, you may become a product head. You may become the hub heads and hub operation head, or maybe the India representative also. And as ma'am is talking about the organizations which is there for the process way for on-the-job training and as well as the final placement. So these are the organizations are there to observe you as in the management trainee role for on-the-job training. And slowly and gradually, you can also proudly say, yes, I'm the part of the leading brands, leading organization. And one thing, before putting this part, whatever products and services we are using, whatever things we are using on a daily basis, or maybe the luxurious process way, or today, in a nutshell, if I talk about today, if we know any product, if we know any brand, just because of logistic and supply chain management, these are the backbone of the entire process way. Today we know about Apple because of the logistic and supply chain management. They are doing on a back-end part to fulfilling all the demands and supply mechanism. Today we know FMCG brands very well. We know the product which will be published into the advertisement note immediately within 24 hours, or maybe the same day, that product will be reach out at your nearest shop, or maybe in home. As sir is talking about, people are working for 90 minutes delivery. You order and you get it done. That's how the entire industry is moving forward. Drone deliveries. Nobody's think about, sir, I'm just taking one more minute. Nobody in 2019s and early 20s, nobody's think about the contactless delivery options also can be available. People are afraid if we do this kind of the activity, there might be a possibility someone come and pick your product and they will waste you. But now companies more authenticated way, they have especially written on that part. If you really wanted to a contactless delivery, we will assure you the delivery part. We will assure the quality and the segment thing. So that is how this entire industry is changing and rapidly moving.
Right. Clearly, there's a lot of scope Professor Doctor, do you want to add anything to that?
He has actually hit the bull's eye, and that is the, what do we say, demand side. Now I'm operating at the supply side. Again, I'm borrowing logistics terms in the sense that who are going to deliver? Our students are going to deliver, because as I said, our job is to make professionals. Now we also have to do certain things at the back end, and that's why when we are designing the curriculum, we have kept a certain part in terms of grooming. We call it employability enhancement sessions. It is not just about studying. It is not just about communication, combining all. That is, communication means in the sense what? Not just spoken, also written communications. Not writing pages after pages. How to make a precise approach that you write 3 lines, but you can communicate to your clients, because clients are not going to read pages after pages. Or when you are taking the course, you should have the resilience, because they might be very angry, they might be very upset because they haven't got their products on time, or they have got wrong products. And sometimes we also behave in a way that we should not be proud of. But what happens? We are upset. You are expecting to get a dress. We have a festival. We haven't got the dress. So we start shouting, maybe at 11 p.m. But you just cannot respond like somebody who is taking that one. He or she cannot just misbehave. So there has to be some sort of resilience. There has to be some sort of acceptability. Find how can I absorb such stressful situations. And this is another very important thing. It's a 24-hour, it's a 7-day job. Nobody is going to say, no, tomorrow is Sunday, I'm not expecting any delivery, especially during, say, festival, or you have some birthday or some wedding. So we are not bothered whether it is a festive time, whether they also have the right to enjoy festivals. We want delivery on time. So that is the expectation. So it is not about the studies. It is also about mental makeup. How the students could accept that, absorb that. Otherwise, there will be burnout situations. Otherwise, they cannot withstand this pressure. So we're also trying to integrate that into our curriculum, where we are going to have regular grooming sessions, and SNU has a psychology department. And we have some very good psychology faculty members who are into this. And we have regular sessions on how to handle work stress, how to handle stress during such trying times. So this is another very important thing that other institutions, standalone institution cannot provide, that we SNU can provide, because we have other departments as well, especially psychology department, sociology department. So these departments actually are there to help that one. And this part I didn't tell, that our course curriculum also has something called generic elective, also has something called foreign language. That German, French, Spanish, Japanese, we are teaching this. We have an international language department, because it may not be always English that will be sufficient. In some cases, they might have to deal with a language which is not English. And slowly, we are talking about global trade. So even SNU has kept that thing in the curriculum for 4 semesters. That stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that they'll have workable knowledge in one of the languages the students would prefer. And the generic electives, what these subjects do, it will give a broader spectrum where they are going to learn subjects which are not part of their domain. Why? Because you also have to have an open mind. You cannot have blinkers like that I'll just focus on my job, because there are many cases where you have to apply your common sense, and that will come from a wide spectrum of your knowledge and expertise. So this appreciation is very important. So we have also kept that in our curriculum. Apart from logistics and supply chain management, we also have some management subjects, some economic subjects, basic statistics, basic mathematics, and then we have a non-domain component called foreign language and the generic electives. So it's an overall personality what we are trying to build up, not just a very narrow-minded, because that's not going to help. Because you are talking about cross-functionality nowadays, interdisciplinary nowadays. You just cannot be just I can do this. You need to appreciate the entire thing, because if one thing is not working, other thing is not also going to work. It's all are connected. It's like a symbiotic process. So that is very, very important, and we want to give that sense to the students.
Right. So clearly a very well-rounded course indeed, and thank you to all of you for making such a course. I would like to ask Professor Datta if you can, what is the eligibility criteria? As in, if I want to apply for the course, I mean, what is the, what is the eligibility criteria? So who can apply?
For BBA, they should have some decent marks in their class 12, say 50%, and we have won our internal test. We call it
plus 2. You have to
class 10 plus 2. Yeah,
right.
They have a decent result, around 50% marks, and they also have to appear in our own admission test. We call it SNU ET, SNU entrance test. And for the post graduation, for the MBA, obviously again we are expecting some decent performance in the graduation. And if they've appeared in CAT, GMAT, MAT, or they can appear in our internal admission. I hope they'll do well and they'll get the admission. And on our website, all the information are given. So they can check the website and they can get all the details. They can also get the curriculum for both BBA and MBA so that they can have the overall idea about it. And our admission team is working day and night. So anytime they can have a talk. And we also have a very good e-commerce, very good online thing. So all this information can also be received through emails and all. So getting information will not be that problem, and all information are available on our website. So I think that's enough for them to understand. And we are just calls away. We are just a WhatsApp away, not just calls. We're just a WhatsApp away. And I receive calls or WhatsApps at 11:30 also in night. No issue, because I know this is a very important time in their career. And there is every reason to have a lot of questions in their mind. And that is our job. Our job is to provide them answers. And we do that. My team entirely does that. I do that. My faculty colleagues, they do that. And even when the session was going on, I was also doing that, because we have another session going on. And some students are finding it some difficult to get inside that thing. So I was also helping them. So I just cannot tell them, don't disturb me, I am into another session. So we need to have that sort of compassion. And this much I can assure you, my entire faculty team is geared towards that. I have very good pool of faculty members with experience, years of experience, and the dedication. And also we have Professor Kashmis, sir is our director and he's our mentor. So, and obviously we have Mr. Surjit and the entire Times Pro. I can say Mr. Shushanta Chakraborty, he has been a pillar for this thing. He has been working tirelessly for last 2 months into admins. So there'll be no problem. Just reach us. Rest is our responsibility. That is what I can say.
Thank you so much. Well, we are nearing the end of the session. Yes, as Professor Doctor said, you can go check out the course. Our website is www.snuniv.ac.in. Other than that, we also have, you can reach out to Professor Dotto. We have his mail ID. It's debraj.t. Or you can also maybe write to the director, Professor Krashnavish. Is ratanrotan.k@snuniv.ac.in. So as Professor Dotto said, we're available for you. Please send in questions. I'm sure a lot of you will be watching this thing, or will be watching this thing later, maybe in our YouTube channel, as we are also live streaming there. Please ask them questions and get to know all about it. A big thank you to all of the speakers today for this very wonderful and very informative session, I would say. And to Professor Krashnavish, especially, as he said, he's our mentor, and we're extremely grateful to have him with us, Professor Dotto. And was from Times Pro. Yes.
I must say one thing, I'm sorry interrupting. The people who are watching this, just look at Sir's level of dedication. Sir has been hospitalized for a week and he has been released just yesterday afternoon, rather evening. And just within 12 hours, Sir is there. And you can understand, Sir is not
I think Professor Krashnavish is on mute. Sir, you will have to unmute yourself. I think he's trying to say something. So look, you will have to unmute. Yes.
I tell you, I'm fine. No problem.
Yes, he is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
No problem.
Definitely.
Please continue.
Definitely. Definitely. I can see our Director, HR and Industry Connect, Ms. Ina Bose has also joined. As I was saying, a big thank you to, yes, ma'am, would you like to say something?
Mr. Chakraborty, Mr. Chakraborty, you want to add
yes.
something, Mr. Chakraborty?
Yes, I was just
Mr.
asking.
Chakraborty. Sushanta Chakraborty.
Are you on mute?
Mr. Chakraborty?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity to speaking me. So now thing is that I heard that illness about you. And thank you, Debra sir, and Sujit also, and Ina Post Madam, Vandrila to moderate the things. So I can give the thanks only at this moment, and things are going on well. I hope so. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Your, as Professor Durfo said, your support was crucial. I would request our Director, HR and Industry Connect, Ms. Ina Bose, to
Thank you, everyone. It was really a very good beginning, I should say. Hope this will really take us way forward. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Singh and Mr. Chakraborty, Professor Datta and Kashan Kishan as well. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.